In the midst of time, countless migrations have taken place as humans were displaced or dispersed by natural disasters. 74,000 years ago, nature unleashed a cataclysm upon Earth. A massive eruption of the Toba supervolcano in Sumatra caused a volcanic winter that lasted 1,000 years. Volcanic ash shrouded the skies and Earth. The life of Homo sapiens was crushed almost to the point of extinction. Humanity had reached the brink of survival. Homo erectus, the first among the Homo species, is believed to have evolved in Africa nearly 2 million years ago. Through the ages, as humans have evolved, there have been many out of Africa migrations to populate other parts of the world. One wave of migration we can detect with some certainty occurred around 65,000 years ago, when a small group of humans carrying the M168 genetic marker of Haplogroup CT emerged from East Africa. Today, nearly every man outside Africa carries this ancient signature. In 2011, the Genographic project by IBM and National Geographic confirmed that these pioneering humans making their way from the Horn of Africa were the first to set foot on the Indian subcontinent, the land destined to become the cradle of civilizations. Research led by Quentin Atkinson reveals that between 45,000 and 20,000 years ago, Southern Asia, including the Indian subcontinent, was the home of about half the human population on Earth. Here, in the sacred land of Sapta Sindhu, the land of 7 rivers, humanity found refuge and prospered. Archaeogenetic research traces migration patterns, ancestral origins, and genetic relationships over thousands of years. Genetic haplogroup reveals ancient ancestry through maternal and paternal lines. Around 50,000 years ago, Haplogroup F arose, giving rise to 6 ancestral lineages: G, H, I, J, K, and L. P branched out from K around 30,000 years ago. P split into Q and R. By 22,000 years ago, 2 genetic subgroups, R1A and R1B, emerged from R, with compelling scientific evidence pointing to their origin in India. Even today, R1 genes dominate Eurasia, and nearly 39% of Indian men carry this genetic heritage. But this is not just a story of genes. It is also a story of languages. From Sanskrit to Tamil, from Avestan to Greek, countless languages of Eurasia trace their distant roots to India. Studies of Tibetan lake sediments reveal that between 15,000 and 14,000 BCE, the southwest monsoon intensified for the first time in India, heralding the end of the last major ice age. It was here, in this fertile cradle, that agriculture is believed to have first sprouted. Indeed, these times brought not only the dawn of farming, but also the first race of knowledge about astronomy. On the banks of Sarasvati river, the sages of Bharat looked to heavens. They tracked the movement of stars, recorded the rains, and forged humanity's first rainfall calendar. Around 14,400 BCE, Maharshi Brahma observed the summer solstice, Dakshinayana, in the Dhanishta nakshatra, within the Brahmarashi constellation. Based on this observation, humanity's first Vedic calendar was born. Astronomy software simulations confirmed that the summer solstice of Dhanishta nakshatra occurred around 14,400 BCE, following Brahma, Manu, Uttanapada, Dhruva, and then King Prithu's era. Prithodaka in Pehova, India, saw the beginning of the agricultural tradition of ploughing with oxen. At that time, the Sarasvati river originating near Keshav Prayag, close to Badrinath, at the Plaksha spring split into two grand channels before Pritudaka. The first, Suprabha, joined the Vaivan channel of the Yamuna river, which also originated in the Himalayas and then flowed to Pritudaka, Hisar, Pushkar, reaching as far as Kutch. The second, Suvenu, merged with Satluj, flowing via Gagar channel through Jaisalmer, also reaching Kutch. Pioneering research by Bimal Ghosh and Amalkar has mapped these lost paleo channels of Sarasvati. Research by a team of IIT Kanpur reveals that by 13,000 BCE, the Satluj changed course, causing the Suvenu branch of Sarasvati to slowly diminish. Meanwhile, the Suprabha Sarasvati remained vibrant until its eventual disappearance millennia later. This was the age when the great sage Brihaspati refined the Indian vernacular language through grammar and for the first time structured the Vedic Sanskrit language, teaching it to the 33 Devas. 1,000 years after Brahma, sage Vishnumitra made humanity's first recorded observation of precession when the summer solstice shifted from Dhanishta to Shravana Nakshatra. Soon after, sage Vasistha revolutionized timekeeping by declaring that the new year should begin not with the solstice but with an equinox. Thus, the Vedic Yoga calendar evolved, transitioning from a moon-based summer reckoning to one anchored in the autumnal equinox. The Rig Veda preserves these celestial memories, as its verses speak of Ashwini Nakshatra as the equinoxial marker. By 13,322 BCE, the Vedic Yuga calendar was formally introduced with 5-year yugas, 20-year Chatur yugas, and 1,000-year Mahayugas. Around this time, sage Trigatama crowned Bharata, son of Shanta in Shakuntala, giving India its enduring name Bharatavarsha. From Vedic King Soma, a contemporary of sage Brihaspati, emerged the 5 lineages of Puru, Anu, Druhya, Yadu, and Purvashu. Bharata's lineage was also descended from Puru, and from Bharata arose Kuru and Panchalas. After King Prithu, the conflict between Devas and Danavas caused a territorial division in the Sapta Sindhu region. The great battle between Indra of Devas and Vitra of Danavas set a new direction for human migration. Consequently, the defeated Danavas, sons of Danu, Daityas, sons of Diti, and Aryas, sons of Era, crossed Sindhu river and settled in foothills of the Hindu Kush mountains joined by the Sakas. Around 13,000 BC, due to the climatic changes, the Daityas moved towards Caucasus Mountains, where the Danavas migrated to Syria, Jordan, Anatolia, Greece, and North Africa. Remains of ancient bread dating to 12,400 BCE found in Jordan indicate that the agriculture outside India was first initiated by Danavas in this part of West Asia, and probably in Iran and Anatolia as well. Archaeogenetic studies of skeletal remains reveal that R1B1 gene was found in an individual known as Villabruna I, who lived in Italy around 12,000 BC. Arguably, R1A, R1B, and J haplogroups carried by migrants from India seeded populations across Eurasia, with the Danavas carrying these genetic markers from India to Europe. In the Greek tradition, the Danavas survived as Danans, the progenitors of early Greek civilization. Plato's description of Atlantis lying beyond the Pillars of Hercules, better known as the Strait of Gibraltar, is intriguing. Recent research points to Spartel Island near Gibraltar, submerged around 10,100 BC, as a possible location for the lost city and civilization. After the Danava migration, the conflict between Devas and Asuras reached its peak. At that time, the zodiac was divided into 28 nakshatras in the Vedic Yuga calendar. Since the winter solstice used to occur at Mrigashira around 11,300 BCE, Mrigashira was listed as the first nakshatra. An astronomical analysis of description of Daksha Yajna indicates that it can be dated around 11,217 BCE when King Daksha conducted the great fire ceremony in Kankal, Haridwar. This was the era when the Vedas were compiled in Vedic Sanskrit and Asura Veda was composed in Asura language. According to Tamil sources, during this period, sage Agastya not only composed verses of Rig Veda but also laid the foundation of ancient Tamil grammar. The Asura Veda, later compiled as Avesta, tells us that Vishwatyama became the king of Asura territories. Ahura Mazda and the first Zarathustra, also known as Zoroaster, lived during this era. The Sapta Sindhu, including Sarasvati region, was sacred to both Devas and Asuras. After the Devasura war, the worshippers of so-called Asura Veda migrated towards Persia and southern Caucasus. Genetic evidence confirmed that populations of India and Iran diverged from each other about 12,000 years ago. The Avesta describes 16 sacred sites stretching from Sarasvati River to the Caucasus. One of these sites was called Aryanambazi, located in modern-day Azerbaijan, and this became the center of Asura culture. During this time, Sarma Deva Shuni, a messenger of Indra, warned the Ashurpani in cave by Ras River, today's Aras River that runs through the southern Caucasus. The name Zahak, mentioned in Avesta, is a transformed version from Takshak, who took over Persia after Jamshid, as Takshat was a descendant of Kashyapa. The Caspian Sea was named Kashyap Sagar after him. The Avesta also blames Takshat for the onset of brutal cold lasting over 10 months of the year. This corresponds to the Younger Dryas, the minor ice age roughly from 10,700 BCE to 9,700 BCE. Vaishukama Sutta of Rig Veda mentions 12 years of drought that resulted from the mini ice age, reducing monsoon rainfall. The Ashva horses described in Vedas were actually Shivalik horses with 34 ribs, Equus sivalensis, not the 36-ribbed Central Asian horses. Archaeological evidence shows that the Shivalik horse became extinct immediately after Younger Dryas. Thus, it can be deduced from the scientific fact that Veda and Asura Veda were compiled before 9700 BCE. Tectonic activity caused the Yamuna's Y1 channel to divert its course away from Sarasvati. Without tributaries, the Superpower channel of Vedic Sarasvati gradually weakened and eventually disappeared into the sands near Uchna, close to Rakhigari. With the drying up of this channel of Sarasvati, large-scale migrations began from the region. During this time, King Videha Madhava and Gautama Rahugana migrated to the banks of Gandaki River and established Videha Janapada. The Sarasvati Satra Yajna, a Vedic fire ceremony, was initiated in memory of lost Sarasvati, first mentioned in Rig Veda's Namisapaya Sukta. In the Mahabharata, the Suprabha Sarasvati is called the mother of Vedas, as Vedic mantras were composed on its banks. After the disappearance of Suprabha Sarasvati, the minor ice age arrived. When it ended and the southwest monsoon returned, the remaining Sarasvati waters combined with Trishadvati and flowed westwards through the Kakar channel. Its course became winding, called the Nunsmarti, and it continued to flow until the Mahabharata era. This explains why Mahabharata mentioned both the flow and the disappearance of Sarasvati river. During the Younger Dryas, inhabitants of the Sumeru mountains and the Hindu Kush Mount migrated toward the Persian Gulf, which was then fertile land suitable for agriculture, as the sea level has not yet risen to fill the Gulf inlet. This migrating community later laid the foundation of Sumerian civilization. Archaeogenetic evidence shows that the Sumerian genome originated from India. At Gilgamesh's time, the minor ice age was ending. A sudden rise in sea level flooded the Persian Gulf, known as the Flood of Gilgamesh. During this period, the Hindu Kush region was ruled by Artha kingdom, whose rulers descended from Drukyu. Sumerian tablets mention king of Bharata as contemporary to Gilgamesh and Enmerkar. In Persia, around 9000 BCE, King Faridun, heir to Jamshid dynasty, rose to power. He defeated the Takshaka lineage, descendants of the mighty Naga clan, and re-established Asura rule across Persia. From his lineage spawned new nations. Ashur founded Assyria. Aram gave his name to Armenia. Iraj ruled Iran. Tur established Turan. It was also during this period the Scythians and Turanians began to mix and interbreed, giving rise to the ancestors of today's Turkic people. By 7500 BCE, the second Zarathustra compiled Avesta, shaping the spiritual foundations of early Zoroastrianism. Greek sources described how around 7400 BCE, Dionysus launched vast conquests, extending Greek influence from Bulgaria to Persia and Afghanistan. As Greek power expanded, communities from Sumeru highlands of Hindu Kush migrated westwards and settled along Black Sea. European traditions remembered them as Cimmerians. By 7100 BCE, Scythian tribes from Chakasthana in Gandhara migrated into Eastern Europe, displacing the Cimmerians. This displaced people later evolved into Gauls, the ancient ancestors of parts of Western Europe. According to Frank's Table of Nations, the Scythian king Alanus fathered 3 sons and 13 grandsons, who went on to establish 13 kingdoms across Western Europe. Old Norse legends recount that Odin, revered as god-king, journeyed from the northern Caucasus through the central Eurasian steppe before settling in Scandinavia. This would explain subtle linguistic links between the Uralic languages and those of northern Caucasus. Irish traditions speak of their ancestors migrating from eastern coast of Caspian Sea, sailing via Black Sea and the Mediterranean to Ireland. Scottish folklore tells of union between Scythian prince and Egyptian princess, the origin of Scottish clans. Between 7000 and 6000 BCE, waves of Scythian migrations swept out of Afghanistan, reshaping the genetic and cultural landscape of Eurasia. At that time, in Bharatavarsha, the Ikshvaku dynasty ruled. According to the Vedic calendar, from 13,322 BCE to 7,322 BCE, 6 Mahayugas or 6,000 years have passed. In 7,322 BCE, the 7th Mahayuga began, named after Vaivasvata Manu, the progenitor of the present human era. Around this time, the sacred 28 nakshatras were redefined, with Abhijit being removed to establish the standard 27 lunar mansion system we have today, beginning with Ashwini Nakshatra. Then, an extraordinary cosmic event unfolded on 22nd February 6778 BCE. As the 28th Krita Yuga ended, the genius astronomer Mayasura observed a rare planetary alignment on Chaitra Shukla Pratipada, the day when the sun stood at the very first degree of Aries, with all the planets and the moon within 26-degree conjunction. Based on this rare celestial marvel, Mayasura composed the timeless Surya Siddhanta, the foundation of Vedic astronomy. Modern software simulations confirm that this alignment occurred only once in the past 20,000 years, providing an irrefutable and unrepeatable anchoring point for establishing the correct chronology of the whole Vedic era. Before 6000 BCE, Sri Lanka was still attached to Indian mainland, but during the meltwater pulse 1C, rising seas gradually transformed it into an island. It was in this shifting world that the epic events of Ramayana unfolded between 5677 BCE and 5577 BCE during the last century of Treta Yuga. Valmiki's Ramayana records that in 14th year of exile, Lakshmana witnessed a comet in the Mula Nakshatra. Astronomical calculations reveal that it was Halley's Comet, observed in 5635 BCE to be precise, a breathtaking benchmark for the accurate dating of this event. Between the Ramayana and the Mahabharata stretches the Dwapara Yuga, spanning roughly 2400 years. Based on archaeoastronomy and textual evidence, the Mahabharata war can now be dated accurately to 3162 BCE. The Raghuvamsha and the Puranas recount that long before Rama, the mighty King Raghu of Ayodhya embarked on a Digvijaya Yatra, a campaign of conquest leading into all directions. Crossing the Indus, he defeated the Bahalikas and Scythian tribes along the bank of Oxus River. But after the death of the last Ikshvaku ruler, King Agnivarna, around 4700 BCE, this Bahalika Scythian confederation seized their chance, capturing northwest India and extending their domain into Gujarat and Haryana. These rulers developed a distinctive logosyllabic script, which we now recognize as the Indus script. Contrary to modern assumptions, the so-called Indus Valley civilization was not isolated culture. It was part of this Bahalika Scythian dominion and woven deeply into Bharata's historical continuum. With the Mahabharata period, King Shantanu had reclaimed vast territories, founding the Hastinapura kingdom. Later, during Yudhishthira's Rajasuya Vedic fire ceremony in 3188 BCE, Arjuna undertook a military campaign that led to the victories over Gandhara, Bahalika, Madra, and northern Kuru. As mentioned, the Sarasvati river dried up, and what's more, severe natural disasters devastated many ancient settlements. Today, their silent ruins across northwest India bear witness to these upheavals. The Puranas preserve an unbroken chronology from Mahabharata era to the time of Vikramaditya. Yet, modern historians have distorted this timeline through three critical errors. 1. Confusing the Shaka calendar with Shakanta era erased 661 years from the history. 2. Incorrectly portraying Buddha and Mahavira as contemporaries when inscriptions show Buddha attained nirvana around 7,000 years earlier. 3. Assuming Jesus' birth as 1 CE without evidence distorted global chronology. Accordingly, this date invalidates nearly all traditional timelines as it is not compatible with the dating of key historical events in the world. Correcting these mistakes restores India's traditional chronology spanning 5,200 years from Mahabharata era to the present. In recent traditions, adherence to biblical chronology misled us to believe that civilization began only around 3000 BCE and not earlier. But traditional sources and emerging multidisciplinary evidence tell a different story. Medical adept Sushruta said, "A definite conclusion cannot be made by studying one academic discipline alone. Therefore, archaeology alone cannot decide the chronology of civilizations." The multidisciplinary study presented in this book, Chronology and the Origins of Indo-European Civilizations, weaving together traditional, literary, archaeogenetic, archaeoastronomical, linguistic, and archaeological evidence, demonstrates that human civilization is over 16,000 years old and its cradle was Bharat. The early Indian civilization referred to in Rigveda as Sapatama Sanskriti Vishwavara. Indian culture is one of the earliest cultures to have spread globally and sustained Sanatana traditions. This land of India shall be the earliest teacher for all the people in the world to show them what humanity is, what divinity is, and how to find the meaning of life. This has been scientifically validated in this book. Therefore, it may not be an exaggeration to say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Vasudhaiva Bharata Kutumbakam. The world is one family. Bharatavarsha was the cradle of world civilizations.